Minnesota Timberwolves playing in their second straight conference finals, which is a crazy sentence. They're taking on the OKC Thunder, who just beat the Denver Nuggets in 7 games. All right, Amin, I think I know your answer here, but tell me who you're picking.
Oh, I mean, come on, man. Like, I got the Thunder winning it all. I have to pick the Thunder now. I'm Tupac committed now, baby. I'm going to whisper it, and I'm going to say it loud. Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win this series. They're going to win the NBA championship. They are the best team. I was having this conversation with Zach Harper the other day, and we were like musing. We were thinking about it. It's like, wait a second. Like, you know how like people praise like two-way players? Oh, they got this nice 3-and-D wing. Oh, this guy's a two-way player. Like, the Thunder roster is literally entirely two-way players. Every single guy on that team defends. Every single guy on that team is an offensive threat in one way or another. And so for them to have built an entire roster of this thing that's supposed to be like this hidden gem in the NBA, it's pretty remarkable. I look at them and I see no flaws. I see flaws when I see the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes, Anthony Edwards is spectacular and he's fun to watch. And look, at this point, it feels kind of inevitable. He will win a championship one day, but that
you see no flaws, really. You don't. So what about their inability to deal with bigs, especially if they're hitting the offensive boards like crazy?
Yeah,
there was a couple of games in this series where it looked like the Nuggets were going to win that way.
Yeah, they had an inability to deal with bigs, so they only proved it by beating the best big in the league. They took him and they put him in a box, and they did it with a dude who's a little bit taller than I am. Like 3 inches taller.
Would that be different? Would that be different than dealing with Rudy Gobert because he is not the focal point of your defense? He's just somebody you have to worry about after the ball is in the air.
You know what? You know what the Thunder are saying? I wish they would. I wish they would, man. No, I don't think that's it. Now, Randle might be different. Randle's one that I think can give them problems because of his incredible strength. Right. And so that's the kind of thing. And by the way, his strength with momentum, because the thing with Jokic, who is also strong, but catches stationary, right? Mm-hmm. And then backs in. Randle's coming downhill. And Alex Caruso, I love you, but you don't want to take that kind of abuse. That's a lot.
That's the problem that I see with Randle, though, is he is very much like bull in a china shop.
Yep.
And OKC is a very fancy china shop. Like their defense will get their hands on everything, and so he's probably going to barrel himself into 4 or 5 turnovers a game, which doesn't bode well.
Yeah, and the other part of that, I would say, if I'm Oklahoma City, I'm going to Isaiah Hartenstein and say, look. You were on the team with this dude for 2 years. You practice with him. You know his tendencies. I mean, I feel like we all know his tendencies at this point, but you know him better than most. So I would put Hartenstein on him. I would put Chet on Rudy, and then we'll take it from there.
And this is where, to me, SGA just sort of unleashes himself, I guess, because we were waiting for it in the first 2 rounds. We got it in pockets, very important pockets, I would add, but having gotten over the Nuggets, having gotten over that champion and your fellow MVP candidate, and I still don't understand why they didn't give away that award already. But you do that, and like all the doubts are gone. Like we talked, maybe they need to prove themselves a little bit more. I think for SGA, as far as he's concerned, he's proven everything he's need to prove now that he beat Denver. And so you're probably going to look at a little bit of even an uptick in, if the Timberwolves allow it, in shot attempts for him, and probably points as a result.
You know, it's funny. I heard someone ask SGA about this the other night. He's playing against his cousin, Gilgeous-Alexander Walker, right? The Alexander there, they are first cousins though, right? Like, and he talked about, we grew up together. We started playing basketball together. We like became hot prospects together. We got to the NBA together. So it's this weird kind of like parallel path with a family member, which is cool. But also it's cool when you're the family member who's going to win MVP and he's the one who's coming off the bench. So it's kind of like, just remember.
I do got a question for you, though, in regard to SGA, because I think everybody will tell you, obviously, he's the better player between him and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
However, what we've seen from Anthony Edwards this year is the willingness to take all those threes. And now we've seen in the postseason how overwhelming it can be if he's making some of those, because you can't even put a hand up on it. Is it possible that with one amazing series, Anthony Edwards leapfrogs SGA, and then next year we're talking about Anthony Edwards in MVP discussions, not just All-Star?
1,000%, man. We are prisoners of the playoff moment. When you're big time in the playoff, look, the Pacers have won like 90 some odd games in the last 2 years in the regular season, 95 or something like that. But we're going to walk away thinking about Tyrese Halliburton in a completely different light because now he's two-time Final Four appearance, two-time conference finalist.
You keep saying Final Four. I'm pretty sure we get sued every time we say that.
Okay, sorry. Final cuatro, right? But yeah, so absolutely, if Anthony Edwards has a spectacular series and the Timberwolves win, absolutely, you're going to hear a bunch of this is the best player in the NBA. He's better than SGA, and this guy's a dog and all that stuff. And by the way, he should be. That's the crazy thing about this. This is why I go back to all the time. Like, let's not pretend like the MVP is head and shoulders above everyone else. Sometimes it is. Sometimes that dude is just when Steph Curry won that thing unanimously. Yeah, like he was head and shoulders above everyone else that season. But the reality is, in any given year, there are like 5 to 7 guys that are all like, yo, I would start a franchise with any of these guys. And Anthony Edwards is definitely on that list.
Here's a couple other guys that we had temporary, short-term questions about. Jalen Williams. And Chet, I would say we as a basketball community, you as the king of the OKC Thunder Castle, I don't think you have to worry about it. But did those two sort of rebound, I guess Chet with the missed free throws and I guess being pushed around a little bit and J-Dub with some pretty poor shooting games there. Did they sort of fix their images or did they sort of repair their confidence going into these conference finals?
J-Dub for sure. Like he had a great game. And when we talk about that second quarter with all those turnovers they forced, he was front and center for a lot of that stuff. Defensively, he's incredible. Offensively, he was good enough. He wasn't spectacular. He didn't make his threes, but he got to the rim, he finished, and he generated enough offense, I think, through his assists for us to feel good. Chet, I thought Chet was solid. I'm going to be interested to see how he can make Minnesota pay. Like Naz Reid is not an easy matchup for him because Naz is a better shooter and also bigger and stronger and can put it on the floor a little bit. So Chet's going to have his work cut out for him. But I think Jalen Williams feels vindicated after Game 7.
You know who, not feeling vindicated, who never feels vindicated when he puts down a bet is your boy Drake. I don't know why he's your boy. He used to be my boy.
That's your boy,
He used to be my boy, and then Kendrick ruined it. So he, of course, he put down a bet, right, for the Maple Leafs who lost to the Florida Panthers. Of course, he's going to put down a bet for anybody Canadian. So you know he's going to be on Team SGA for this series. Is that a nightmare situation? Is that the ultimate curse for Oklahoma City Thunder?
You know what I'm doing if I'm SGA? I'm calling up Drake and be like, Nikhil's Canadian too. Why don't you bet on him? Why you betting on me? Damn it, man.